Yo, what is going on, everybody? Sorry for the little bit of the late start, but we are here. We are ready. Metal Blade Live Series. I'm your host, Riley McShane, singer for Legion, and I'm here with a very special guest today, pro skater, fucking X Games, gold medals, silver medals. You are fucking killing it, bro. Been in the game a long ass time. The dude, Elliot Sloan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Thank you for fucking coming on and chopping it up with us. It's fucking super great to have you. I
Yeah.
mentioned before the stream started that, I'm also in the San Diego area, so it's fucking super cool to, fucking talk to a fellow, sort of San Diego. And
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
grew up in New York City, right?
Yes. Born and raised in New York City. I've been out in San Diego for like a little over 15 years now.
Okay. So
Yep.
you're practically a local.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm never moving back, dude. This is definitely
Yeah,
my
man,
home now.
it's the spot for sure. Fucking. So, can you give us a little bit of history with your skating? I mean, I assume you started in street in New York. There's not a whole lot of like vert stuff going on, but then now that's kind of what you're known for is your vert and big air. How
Oh,
did that kind of start and transition?
yeah. So I used to skate just around the city. I used to be really into BMX too, just like, I feel pretty grateful to have grown up with that experience of just you know going out and just skating all over the city. But then it wasn't until 99 X Games I saw Tony Hawk do the 900,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty much it for me, man. I never forget, like, seeing that moment just blew me away, and I was like, I'm skating vert. Like, from that moment forward, I was like, I want to do that. And lucky enough, there were two skate parks in the city at the time that had like small vert ramps. So I kind of started there, and dude, it actually took me like almost, I feel like, a full year to drop in on a vert ramp. Like, I would just go to the skate park, kind of pump up back and forth, and then go to the top and look down, and then just be like, not today.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, it took seriously a year of doing that before I finally dropped in. But yeah, I would skate at those parks in the city. One of them is, I think, actually both are still there. One's called Chelsea Piers on like 23rd and West End, I think. Yeah. It used to be all like metal wood ramps, and now it's like all concrete.
Yeah.
And then the other one is up on 108th in Riverside. Um, and I think they're actually redoing that. I think they're in the process of like rebuilding that park.
Nice.
But yeah, and then I started venturing off into uh like New Jersey. There was this spot in Elizabeth, I think. Is an indoor spot, and that was when I met like a couple of these older guys that were pros, and that was pretty much like, once I got into that, that was like my scene, and that's what really kind of, like, that's what took off for me, is like I was around other dudes that were skating vert, because like when I was skating vert in the city, I was pretty much by myself.
Right.
um so yeah, I think that's the thing with most things that you get into, is like, being around other people that are doing what you want to do, or better than you, and then you're kind of like, that's how you progress. But
Yeah, totally. You gotta have mentors and shit.
yeah, so I met those
Absolutely.
guys, and then yeah, we were skating there, and then there was another park in Philadelphia that was indoors, and that was it, man.
Dude, that's rad. So
Yeah.
so you just mentioned seeing Tony Hawk do that legendary 900, right?
Mhm.
And you've talked about him in other interviews being like a big inspiration, and now you ride for Birdhouse and like get to hang with him, San Diego local kind of thing. Is that still kind
Yeah.
of like a surreal experience? He's always
Oh,
come across to me as one of those guys, man. Like I sat next to him on a plane once going out to like Salt Lake City, and he was
yeah.
just such a fucking chill dude. And so it's like,
Yeah.
they always say like, oh, never meet your heroes kind of thing, but he seems like the
Oh, yeah.
total antithesis of that shit. He's like such a
Totally.
chiller.
Yeah, that's definitely not the case for him, and
Yeah.
it's definitely still like super surreal. Like, I've been riding for Birdhouse for, I don't know, over 10 years now, and been traveling all around the world with him to like different demos and stuff. And yeah, it's still such a trip, man. Like there's like a lot of times where like I'm talking to him and in the back of my head, I'm just thinking like, this is Tony Hawk. I'm talking to Tony Hawk. Like, so I still have those moments of like super fanning out,
Yeah.
which is cool, man. I hope that never goes away. Cause I mean, literally, like I said, you know, that's pretty much what got me into skating vert. And then, you know, his video game, his book came out. Like I read his book in 6th grade and I was just like all about Tony Hawk. And
Yeah.
so it's been very, very surreal and really cool, man, to have this experience and this opportunity. And just, yeah, forever grateful for that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Uh, so you mentioned playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I know that, like, man, growing up, that shit was my jam. Like
Yeah.
everything from like the skaters to the soundtrack. I was a Chad Muska player on that game.
Yeah.
I like, dude, it's like a part of me. I
Totally.
run a game company now, and it's like
Yeah.
that's like my formative gaming experiences with like Tony
Totally.
Hawk's Pro Skater and Dave Mira's BMX game.
Yep. Oh yeah, I used to. Oh man, I was so into that one as
Dude,
well.
they were both so good. But
Yeah.
like now that you're a pro skater, do you like still play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater every once in a while? Like when that remake came out, did you check it out?
Oh yeah, I definitely played it for a bit. I hate to admit, and I apologize to Tony, but once the skate game came out, I was
Yeah.
like all about skate. And, you know, I think a lot of people kind of took that path too. It was just like
Yeah.
it definitely a little bit more of a learning curve, but once you kind of figured out the controls, it was just like the whole different experience.
It
But
totally had that natural feel,
yeah,
man. And I feel like the Tony Hawk franchise kind of took a few notes from that with stuff like Project 8 and like a few of the like not like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 2 3 4 type of thing, like how he had
yeah,
like Underground and Project 8. And god damn, there was that one that had Bam in it, and he was like right on the front. I think that actually might have been an Underground game too.
yeah. I think that was
Yeah.
one of the ground ones. Those were
Yeah.
cool. I definitely trying to think at what point where I kind of like lost interest. The underground ones were cool. Um, I feel like it was maybe one of the, I think it was called like Ride or something, where the controller
Yeah.
was like a
Had
board.
the board controller, right?
Yeah, that was kind of like, and I think Skate was already like out at that time, and so I was,
Right.
yeah, I'm just sticking to this one.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to just over the years talk to people that skate and don't skate, that have that same story of just like, man, Tony's game like turned me on to skating, or like
Yeah.
just kind of opened the door for so many people, and definitely brought skating into a whole new, I guess, light for so many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely pushed it out to the mainstream. And not that it didn't have like a, pretty big international following before, but that game really like brought it to that next level, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, super sick game. It definitely got me skating, and even though I didn't really stick with it, I shifted gears way harder into music, but
Yeah.
it's definitely did its job. I had
Yeah.
had a few boards and all that kind of stuff, and I actually ended up doing a little bit of work with Vox footwear way back in the day.
Oh, what?
Yeah, dude. Because I did longboarding stuff, and me and my friends lived right next to this like huge hill, and so we would just like film ourselves just fucking bombing it and carving it and walking the board and power sliding, doing little trick like all the tricks that you can do on a longboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And yeah, I sent it out, and I guess like someone's parent knew someone at Vox, and they were like, "Oh, sure, like yeah, give him some shoes and shirts and shit." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
sponsored skater now,
Ah.
guys."
And they made good shoes though.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were
they're a bit.
sturdy.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
so speaking of, we mentioned a little earlier, you live in San Diego now. You've been here for like 15
Yep.
years, and you have a mega ramp in your backyard. I'm sure that everyone who's watching who knows who you are knows that is like the fucking mega ramp, man. That thing's so sick. So, I mean, it must be awesome to have that available to you in the past year over lockdown and all that kind of shit. Are skate comps and shooting video parts like kind of how you've been adjusting for work personally? And then, maybe give us a little insight on like how 2020 kind of affected the skate scene overall, if you
Yeah.
could.
Yeah. Well, first off, like I said, I grew up in New York in an apartment building, and I always dreamt of having a backyard one day to build like a mini ramp or something. So
Yeah.
I am just so beyond grateful, and just every day just so grateful to have this set up here. But yeah, this like new section of the ramp that we just finished, we it literally finished it like March of last year, like days before I was leaving for like a couple events, and then, oh, this one's canceled, oh, that one's canceled, oh, this one's
Uh,
canceled, whole year's canceled. So the timing was just really good in that sense that I was able to just really, skate the hell out of that thing and just film. And um yeah, it really kind of, I feel like, brought um a lot of attention to the mega ramp and myself and the whole backyard. And yeah, it's I mean, even this year right now, man, there's like one contest in October
mm-hmm.
in Australia, and it's like, who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But yeah, that's kind of just the way it's shifted, is just like really just focusing on content. And I was making a pretty good push for the thing, but kind of slacked off a little bit. YouTube's kind of tough, just got to stay super consistent.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I've got a couple other projects like that. I'm just trying to learn new tricks, document that whole process, trying to put possibly a couple events together at my house. um but that's it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like every industry has had to kind of acclimate, you know what I mean? And,
Totally.
with, the skating industry and the music industry, it seems like a really similar path was taken, right? Where it was just like all these events got canceled, all these tours got canceled. Even still, the closest stuff that's on the books is for like the end of this year. And
Yeah.
everybody's just been cranking out, videos, albums, singles, just like everything that you can to just like stay visible.
Right.
Because, it's like you thought attention spans were bad before all this. Now it's just like everybody's just locked inside, just like all you can do is consume media, and
Right.
it just makes it so that it's like you're just being bombarded from all sides with like content from this person and this person and this band and all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up for sure.
Sure.
So I totally feel you on that YouTube kind of thing. And it's like I feel like it's like you're not even really like slacking off that much, right? It's just like the amount
Yeah.
of work that you have to put into like creating a presence and maintaining one on that kind of social platform is like
Yeah.
so much more than I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
us are used to. So
Yeah.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy it, but then there's times where I'm just like so burnt out on
mhm.
just being on my phone and having to just be, keep up with all, the constant, like, oh, you gotta, just sucks, man. Like this day and age, like you'll put out a video part or, an album or whatever, and it's like people go through it in a day, and it's like, okay, now what? And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, that just took me like a year to,
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
So the
for sure.
turnaround, that stuff is I don't know, it's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
And
but
having those live experiences is like really what helps. It's like what keeps,
oh,
at least our industry on the music side of things alive. You know what I mean? It's like now music,
sure.
consuming music as a media, commodity has just become so easy. And it's like you said, it's like you'll release an album, people will listen to it 10 times in a day and then never listen to it again. So it's like
Right.
you gotta be able to go out there and like tour and play shows and like provide that experience for people to be able to be like, oh my god, like it's so sick, look at this spectacle. And like skating,
Yeah.
obviously is, I'd say, much more of a spectacle than than watching a concert, just because of like the fucking athleticism involved and like all the
Yeah.
the crazy shit that goes into it.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Mega Ramp specifically, like almost everyone that's never seen it and then they see it for the first time, they're like, oh my gosh, it's so much bigger in
Yeah.
person. So yeah, that really sucks. And it was even weird. Like Winter X Games was last weekend or whatever,
Hmm.
and they did it, but there was no audio, and it just looked so weird. It just looked
Yeah.
like there was their practice runs, but it's like, oh no, this is the contest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully they do X Games this year. If they do it without an audience, I'll be glad that they do it. But it does suck. I mean, you use that, the hype and the crowd to
Yeah.
definitely like
Pump yourself
get
up, man.
stoked.
That energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
weird
Fucking well,
times.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm ready to go see some skaters. I'm ready to go see a fucking football game. I'm ready to go see some
Yeah.
shows, man. I'm just like
Exactly, dude. I'm
hurting for it.
so ready. I know they're doing like a lot of the electronic artists or whatever doing these drive-in shows.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Have there been any metal bands that done
Yeah,
drive-in?
there was a couple that did like a drive-in type of thing, and I think the first one was over in like Scandinavia or something like that. I don't think there's really been anyone in the metal circuit that's done one on stateside.
Yeah.
A lot of what metal bands have been focusing on is like live stream events and like stuff where they'll either like it's like you pay a ticket price to watch them like stream like how we're streaming now, like live off the cuff, like
Yeah.
just doing it, just playing a show. um, but then other bands do stuff where it's like this big production and there's all this
Yeah.
different locations and all kinds of stuff, and it works, you know what I mean? It provides an experience. It's obviously not the same, but it's like a good, I think, kind of compensation in the
For
meantime
sure.
while we wait for concerts to come back.
Bleed from Within just did a live stream a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. The production on that, I was like so blown away.
Yeah.
Super sick, but still not the same experience,
Yeah, man, it's
Like
it's it's just different, no matter how loud I turn my speakers, it's not
exactly.
it's not I'm not feeling it in my body the same
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
And it's kind of weird now. I feel like it's just so saturated that there's maybe like, I don't know, a loss of interest just because there's like a live stream this day, live stream that, a live stream,
Yeah.
like, fuck.
Yeah, I feel like that phenomenon might carry over once concerts come back. Like I feel like everybody's gonna be super stoked right out the gate, but
Mhm.
then that like overflow is gonna go on, I think, for a little too long, and people are gonna be like, "Man, fuck, I want to see your band, but I already saw 18 other bands this month. Like,
Yeah.
I need to chill. I can't keep buying all these concert tickets." So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see how things kind of come back, but
Yeah.
you know, well, anyway. Speaking of music, I'm
Yeah.
seeing some guitars back there. I see that Black Dahlia Murder record peeking out of the
Oh,
corner. I
yeah.
so
Yeah.
you play in a band called Night Fiends.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that, man. That's super sick. Like who else is in the band? Do you guys have any future plans? Going into 2021, obviously not ideal.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what's going on with that?
Yeah, so the whole thing is just like a fun kind of collab project. The main other dude is Tanner Wayne. He plays drums for In Flames, and he's my roommate here.
Nice.
So yeah, we started this project like I guess maybe beginning of last year, and it's just been really cool over the years to like become friends with a lot of dudes that are in some of my favorite bands. So yeah, like a lot of the uh, guest appearances on there, like, I mean, Brandon Ellis from Black Dahlia Murder is like probably my favorite guitar player right now, maybe of all time, at least like top two, or like he's just incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did one of the solos, and it was crazy because like the solo section that I wrote was like kind of long, and when I first sent it to him, I was like, hey, it's kind of long, like you don't have to do the whole thing, whatever. And then he sent it back and he did the whole thing, and I was like, holy shit. Like, it's seriously, it's so sick.
Dude.
But yeah, I think we put out five or six songs. But that's it for now. The one that we just put out with singer from Bleed from Within, Scott, and a guest solo from Andy James, another one of my favorite guitar players. That was kind of like one of the last songs I think we have. So I got to get back to writing some more stuff now.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's I don't really plan on like touring. I don't even know if I could. That there's like so many guests, guest singers and all that. It's for me, it's just like a passion project. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I've thought about it before. Like fuck, man, I don't know if I could ever be in like a touring band. Like I don't know if I could take months off of skating.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
Um, so yeah, it's just a fun like studio project and just trying to like have fun and make music with my friends and
hell yeah, man. That's where it's at.
yeah,
That's the best way to do it, you know what I mean? And it's like
yeah,
if you get, recognition from doing it that way, it's always like, way more gratifying because it's like you don't have to feel like you're, conforming to industry standards or doing this or doing that or anything like that. And yeah, dude,
yeah,
I feel you on the touring thing, man. That's always what it comes down to is like, my other career versus this like desire to go tour.
yeah,
Uh, and it's like, it's a crossroad that everyone who like wants to do the touring thing, you know, usually they don't already have like a dream job type of thing where it's like,
yeah,
like with the game company, I was just like, man, I'm doing this thing I've always wanted to do, and it's super exciting. And when touring comes back, I'm gonna have to like kind of put it on the side and do all my thing because music is like my first big career. But it's like, you know when you have that like day job, like you have to really like choose, like, do you want stability or do you want like to feel that like hell yeah, I love what I'm doing type of thing. And I'm sure obviously you get that same kind of feeling from skating, so it's an easy choice, I'm sure, whether or not to tour or keep skating.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, it's weird now, like especially now, like I feel like I almost get anxiety like leaving the house, dude. I haven't
yeah,
been on a
man.
trip in so long. Like I just went on a little snowboard trip, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I haven't been anywhere in like so long." And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really have to leave. Like I have everything that I need here, so. Um, but yeah, just leaving the house and going on a trip, it's like, oh shit. Oh man,
Yeah.
I like being at home now. I think.
Yeah, man, I feel ya. I was kind of in like a similar boat when all this shit started. As I would be like, "Fuck, bro! Like I haven't left the house in like a couple days. I need to like get out, get some fucking fresh air and some sunshine and shit." Just like been, working on stuff all this whole time, and then COVID
Yeah,
hit, and I was like, "Oh, bro, I'm like already ready for this. I
yeah,
already never leave the fucking house. I'm good to go."
yeah,
But now
yeah,
after a year of it, I'm just like, bro, I need to get out. But that same
yeah.
thing, man, I had it. I had COVID over the holidays, and
Yeah,
yeah, and it sucked. You know what I mean? I mean, here I am. I lived
yeah,
through it, came out on the other side, but like, it sucked, and that anxiety like still kind of carries. I still carry it when I leave the house and when I'm like
yeah,
going places, especially now knowing that it's like, you know. You come back with a negative test, but it's like you never know if you're still like an asymptomatic carrier now that you've had it, and it's like I
right,
don't want to fucking
right.
infect other people and shit, and it's just like
Yeah, totally.
it's so stressful. But you know, we got
Yeah,
vaccines coming and all that shit, and like I said, my,
yeah,
my last test came back negative, so I'm hoping that really means something, and I can, not worry about spreading this shit around, put an end to it.
yeah.
Well,
Seriously.
so I know you said it's kind of like a passion project kind of thing, and that you obviously have a lot of guests from some of your favorite bands and stuff.
Mhm.
What other records or bands have you been listening to lately? There's all these surges of content coming out. Have you been checking out anything new or just sticking to the classics?
Let's see. Well, man, really fucking unfortunate news a couple weeks ago with Alexi
Yeah, man.
passed away. Like, man, Children of Bodom was seriously like one of my favorite bands. Like, I got
Yeah.
into them with Follow the Reaper.
Yep. That was the one.
Um, that was the one, and it just like I've just been kind of listening to their shit like the past couple weeks,
Yeah.
and I forgot like how many albums they have that I was so. I mean, Hate Crew, Death Roll, dude, was like. I mean,
So fucking
Follow
good.
the Reaper, and Hate Crew, Death Roll are like probably two of my favorites. And then even the next one, Are You Dead Yet, was incredible.
Are You Dead Yet had
Uh,
Needle 24/7 on it, right? That was like the big single off that one.
that, that was Hate Crew, Death Roll,
Oh, okay, word. Word.
first song on that one.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what have I been listening? I kind of listened to a bunch of random stuff. I'm like pretty into like electronic music too, so I like I bounce back and forth between like, oh, tech stuff is pretty fire.
Yeah.
Kind of a different uh path, I guess, than the Holy Hell album, but still very sick.
I'm right with the
Um,
on the electronic music stuff, man. Every time I post my like, Spotify year end and kind of shit, people are
yeah,
like, "Aren't you in a death metal band? Like, what the fuck is
yeah,
this?" I'm
yeah.
just like, I don't know, man. The way I always
So
explain it is, I'm just like, bro, like, have you ever met someone who's worked at a fucking pizza shop for 10 years that like still eats pizza? Like, you just
right,
gotta like, I can't just listen to metal all the
yeah,
time. I gotta get something else
for
going on in there.
sure. Oh, that's cool to hear. 'Cause